I found the video on my old phone 3 weeks ago. Me at 19 in my college dorm laughing at photos of men in dresses, calling them freaks and weirdos and saying I'd never understand why anyone would do something so disgusting. The sound of my own voice made me sick. Not because I was wrong, but because I was wearing a dress when I watched it. My name is Patrick Hamilton and I'm 31 years old. 12 years ago I was the kind of guy who made fun of cross-dressers. Now I am one. And I still don't understand how it happened. It started as a joke. That's what I tell myself anyway. My friend group in college was competitive about everything. Who could drink the most? Who could date the hottest girls? Who could do the most outrageous dare without backing down? Jake Matthews was the worst. Always pushing boundaries. Always finding new ways to make us prove we weren't scared of anything. I bet Patrick won't do it, Jake said one night when we were all drunk at his apartment. I bet he's too much of a pussy to wear a dress for even 5 minutes. Everyone laughed. Patrick Hamilton in a dress? The same Patrick who played linebacker and had a different girl every weekend? No way. You're right, I won't, I said. Because I'm not a freak. So you're admitting you're scared? Jake pushed. Admitting you're less of a man than those weirdos who actually like wearing women's clothes? The dare was simple. I have to wear Jake's girlfriend's dress for 1 hour at the party next weekend. If I did it, I'd win $500 from everyone in the group. If I backed out, I had to pay them each $100. $500 was a lot of money for a broke college kid. And more importantly, I wasn't about to let Jake call me scared. The party was packed. At least 50 people watching when I walked out of the bathroom wearing a red dress that barely covered my thighs. Everyone laughed and took photos and made jokes about how I actually looked pretty hot. I played along. Posed for pictures. Made jokes about being the prettiest girl at the party. Acted like it was all hilarious because that's what you did when you were 19 and stupid and desperate to prove you were tough enough to handle anything. But something weird happened around the 30-minute mark. I stopped noticing the laughter. Stopped caring about the photos. Started actually feeling something I didn't have words for. The dress felt good. Not in a sexual way. Just comfortable. Natural. Like coming home after a long day to familiar surroundings. When the hour ended and Jake handed me the money, I went back to the bathroom to change. Stood there looking at myself in the mirror wearing that red dress and felt a strange sadness about taking it off. I shook it off. Told myself it was just the alcohol making me weird. Changed back into my regular clothes and spent the rest of the night trying to forget how right that dress had felt. But I couldn't forget. Days turned into weeks and I kept thinking about it. About how the fabric felt against my skin. About the person I'd seen in the mirror who looked more real than Patrick Hamilton had ever felt. 3 months later, I bought my first dress. Told myself it was just curiosity. Just wanting to understand what I'd felt that night. Just a one-time thing that wouldn't mean anything. But 1 time became 10 times. Then 100. By the time I graduated, I had a whole wardrobe hidden in the back of my closet. Had learned to do makeup from YouTube videos. Had given my female self a name. Grace. For 12 years I've been living this double life. Patrick during the day who works in finance and dates women and acts like the same guy who made fun of cross-dressers in college. Grace on weekends who wears dresses and feels more honest than Patrick ever has. The guilt eats me alive. Every time I put on a dress, I think about the things I said. The jokes I made. The people I hurt with my ignorance and cruelty. I think about Danny Chen, who everyone made fun of freshman year for being effeminate. How I joined in the mockery even though some part of me recognized myself in him. How Danny dropped out second semester and I never knew what happened to him. I think about all the times I used slurs and made jokes about men who weren't masculine enough. All the times I pushed down my own feelings by attacking people who were brave enough to live theirs. Last month I went to a cross-dressing support group for the first time. Walked into a community center basement, expecting to find the freaks and weirdos I'd spent years mocking. Instead I found normal people. Teachers and lawyers and construction workers who just wanted to be themselves for a few hours without judgment. People who'd been hiding the same way I had. People who understood the weight of living 2 lives. One of them was Danny Chen. I recognized him immediately, even though it had been 12 years. He was wearing a beautiful white dress and talking to someone about makeup techniques. He looked happy, comfortable, free in ways I'd never seen him in college. When the meeting ended, I worked up the courage to approach him. "Danny? I don't know if you remember me, but Patrick Hamilton." His face went cold. "Yeah, I remember you. You and your friends made my freshman year hell." "I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything I said and did back then. Sorry doesn't undo anything. Sorry doesn't give me back the year of therapy I needed after dropping out. Sorry doesn't fix the damage you did." He started to walk away, then stopped. "What are you even doing here? Come to make fun of more people?" "No. I came because I'm one of you now. Because I've been cross-dressing for 12 years and I needed to talk to people who understood." Danny stared at me for a long moment. Then he laughed. Not a happy laugh. A bitter one. So the universe has a sense of humor after all. Patrick Hamilton, the bully, became exactly what he used to hate. I never hated it. I hated myself for wanting it. That doesn't make what you did okay. I know. Nothing I say will make it okay. But I need you to know that not a day goes by where I don't regret the person I was in college. Where I don't think about the people I hurt because I was too scared to admit the truth about myself. Danny was quiet for a moment. "Did you ever think that maybe the reason you were so cruel was because you saw yourself in people like me? That attacking us was easier than facing your own truth. Every single day." "Well, congratulations, Patrick. You became the thing you feared." "How does it feel?" "Lonely. Like I'm living proof that karma exists." "Good. Maybe that means you've learned something." He turned to leave, then paused. "There's a meeting here every Thursday night. You should come back. Not because I forgive you, but because everyone deserves a place to be themselves without shame. Even former bullies who spent years spreading the same shame they were running from." That was 3 weeks ago. I've been to every meeting since. Danny and I don't talk much, but sometimes we make eye contact across the room and nod. A small acknowledgement that we're both survivors of the same war, even if we fought on opposite sides. Yesterday, I deleted all the social media photos from college. The ones where I'm laughing at that party in the red dress. The ones where I'm making jokes at other people's expense. The evidence of who I used to be before I understood what I was really mocking. But I kept the video on my old phone. The one where 19-year-old Patrick calls cross-dressers freaks and disgusting. I keep it as a reminder. Not of my shame, but of how far I've traveled. How the person we hate most loudly is often the person we're most afraid of becoming. I became the cross-dresser I used to mock. And maybe that's exactly what I deserved. But here's what young Patrick didn't know. Being a cross-dresser isn't the punishment. Living in fear was. Hurting others to hide myself was. Spending years hating people who were braver than I could ever be was. Now I'm finally brave enough to be what I always was. Even if it took becoming my own worst enemy to get here. If you enjoyed this story, you can find more like it in my Femboy and Cross-Dressing Stories bundle. 5 complete stories available now on Amazon for just $4.99. Until next time, keep exploring, feeling, and becoming who you are.